everyone. Welcome to our very first webinar, Code Chat with SC Codeworks. I am Amy Dean, and I am the Vice President of Operations for SC Codeworks. I have joining me our Director of Pre-Sales and Implementation, Tony Baldwin.
Hey everyone, glad to be here and excited to discuss today's topics.
Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that's a top priority for many of our customers and industry leaders, 3PL billing. This is such a critical part of any logistics business, yet so many people still express frustration with the perceived gaps in the execution of it. So where is billing missing the mark? What we need to understand is that 3PL billing does not start in the warehouse. It starts with contract negotiations. It is crucial that your sales team understands what is billed from your WMS. A big question we hear from prospects is, am I leaving money on the table? So today we're going to be talking about three main areas that your WMS should have covered when it comes to billing: capturing all of your tasks, automated billing, and reporting. So let's jump into 3PL billing. Are you covered? We're going to start with capturing every task. Tony, please walk us through what everyone should expect their WMS to collect. Why does this matter?
Absolutely. So there's a variety of charges that your WMS should be able to track and bill on. There are numerous challenges that 3PLs face when it comes to billing. Having different accounts with different requirements, it only adds to the complexity of the billing. It isn't as simple as a pallet in, pallet out scenario. 3PLs are managing pallet ties, rework, labeling, other constantly specific requirements. All that needs to be captured and billed for. Additionally, 3PLs need to track such supplies such as shrink wrap, pallets, placards, labels. These are a cost to the warehouse, but it's a necessary and important part of the operation that 3PLs need to recoup and get that money back for. There's also a challenge for odd commodities in forms of hundredweight, board length, tonnage, and then there's situational charges such as they don't necessarily happen on every transaction. So, think of like stacking, hand wrapping, or labeling. So with those things in mind, here's some of the things you should be capturing at a minimum. Your item master should have a pallet configurations and the storage rates. It should also allow for the items to be associated with material handling codes. So all special requirements for those items are displayed to the operators on the floor. Your WMS needs to track everything from day one. It should record any storage from the moment the inventory hits your facility to the point it leaves. It should also capture any crucial transactional data for all your inventory. Your WMS should be capturing every movement related to the handling as well as accessorial charges. Handling is necessary because it represents those daily operational functions such as receiving, picking, shipping, and so on. The accessorial charges, on the other hand, are important because they cover those situational charges that we mentioned before, such as labeling, constantly specific requirements, double wrapping due to the product weight, things like that.
That's great information. There's a lot of complexities that are going into this topic and how 3PLs are billing. For those that are listening right now, what challenges are you facing with your billing? Please head over to the comments and just let us know. Tony, in your experience, tell us about the most common billing functions being captured by a WMS.
Sure. So one of the big things capturing is we got to capture for storage, receiving, picking, shipping, all based on the units of measure in the contract. One of the things we often see is that companies are tracking the initial storage, which is captured at the time of receipt, as well as the recurring storage, which is based on the inventory levels of the last day of the month. Remember, for storage, we always bill a month ahead. Another important thing to do is, you should be capturing the handling of both the product on the inbound and the outbound. This directly impacts your bottom line since that's where your labor is spent.
That all seems straightforward. But as we covered earlier, 3PLs tend to have different requirements that add that complexity. How does that come into play here?
Glad you brought that up. So some of those different requirements can be where the product's stored, how it's counted, picked, any special handling. Your WMS should know how to charge, whether you're picking full cases, full pallets, cases, less than full cases, which is what we call an each. Special requirements are also captured as well. That could be anything from supplies, blackout, wrap, load locks, labor required for extra rework. Often those are value added activities that sales teams are promoting and that help the warehouse wins the business. These are all good things to offer. We just want to make sure you're getting paid for them and you're not leaving anything on the table. Is that, a fixed fee or like a fixed storage fee, fixed management fee? So again, those should be included in your contract.
Yeah, and it sounds like there could be a large variety of billing variations. Have you seen any really unique requirements?
Yeah. So there's some really interesting ones out there. Some of the products that we had, one of our customers had, they ordered in the linear foot, which means, you had to pick it with the help of a tape measure. Other products are tracked by tonnage. Every pallet has its own unique weight. So that is a huge billing challenge.
Wow, you can see where billing can get complicated pretty quickly. Can you give us a real world example of how a WMS can help to capture things like this?
Yeah. So let's think of it this way. You have an expiration driven account and the customer manages their inventory based on the first expiration, first out standard FIFO. They release orders in full pallet quantities. However, one of the production runs might have ended with a partial quantity that gets shipped to your warehouse. Now, you have a partial pallet that needs to be built into a full pallet. Since the customer orders in a full pallet, they don't want you to pick. They don't think you should be picking at the case rate. Well, unfortunately, your WMS should be able to capture this. So with the pallet configuration that you can have in your WMS, it makes it easy to show that, hey, you sent me a partial pallet. Now I have to take and pull another partial or another full pallet to make this one full pallet that you ordered. You're ordering it as a full pallet. That's what we need. So it's important to have this kind of data captured because it's quickly impacting directly and quickly impact your workforce. If you think about picking a full pallet, you're typically picking one or two from a bulk or a rack location. This takes less time than picking a partial, which requires you to physically combine product from one place to another by hand. These additional efforts, they deserve to be captured and billed for.
Absolutely. And now you have to stretch out that pellet as well.
Of course. This is when capturing supplies really matters. The supply usage should be reordered or recorded as part of billing for that order. You should be able to tie back which order your supplies were consumed on and how much of them were used.
These are really good things to think about. It goes to show how quickly it can snowball when you're handling these special requirements and maybe not getting paid for it. That's a big deal. How often do you think warehouses miss capturing every task due to manual processes?
I'd say it's often. In my experience, things as simple as miskeying in the office can affect your billing negatively. When a warehouse uses manual process like operators on the floor handwriting the number of checked pallets they use on an order, that accuracy of the bill of your billing is now going to be dependent on the penmanship. But what if things were captured automatically at the time you're picking in the WMS?
Sounds like it could be a real game changer.
I would think so. There are a lot of opportunities to automate billing in your WMS, including, set rates, cloned invoices, auto rate increases, as well as ship confirmation and receipt posting processes. Imagine this. Your operator on the floor at the end of picking is automatically prompted to key in how many pallets they used, what supplies they consumed, and any value-added activities that were performed. With automation, all this is captured clearly and can be quickly verified by the supervisor. The office doesn't have to track down missing paperwork, and loads can be closed out a lot faster. In a warehouse, with this kind of automation, operators are walking around back and forth, to turn in paperwork, notify supervisors. Those supervisors need to track them down to verify, what's hand wrote. All this, it takes time. And then once they get it back to the office, now it takes even more time. So the clerical has to enter in all the billing and shipping information. That's impacting your productivity.
Good point, especially with those types of activities that are happening all day, every day. What are some other things that customers should be setting up for automated billing?
Well, one of those is automated rate increases. This can give you the ability to set up an annual rate increase based on your contracts. Here's a good example. Your sales team is great and negotiates a yearly percentage increase for the term of the contract. The rate gets entered into the system, but you don't always have a way to automate the annual rate increase. If you don't have a reminder or the person responsible for inputting the increase isn't there, it could get missed. Now, that customer may not be willing to retroactively pay the new rates, leaving revenue, the revenue's on the table. However, When rate increases can be set automatically to apply to a specific date, you can remove the risk and improve your bottom line. Now you have 365 days to get that information entered instead of doing it the day of. You can also get things done, you can set rates on like your handling, accessorial, pick type rates. That way, when work is being completed, your WMS, it already knows what functions need to be recorded, and you can build for and for at what rate.
That's amazing. I mean, talk about automating what's important to you. This is valuable to all 3PLs and their multi-year contracts. What if there are charges that occur monthly that aren't associated with a specific transaction, like an order or an inbound?
Well, that's something more of a cloned invoice, and where that would work really well there. So a recent example is during COVID, there was a local grocery store that needed some extra space and fast. They were ordering in larger quantities and to combat the shortages that had been created and needed a place to store all the product off-site until they had space. So a 3PL came into rescue and essentially just sublet out the space in their building to the grocer, and the 3PL was able to use the invoice and clone it each month. That helped speed up the processing time, and the 3PL got paid quicker.
What a great example. You can really see the benefit that automated billing can bring. Is there anything that can be automated for clerical and customer service teams?
Well, of course there is. So something that comes to mind right away is special charges. So when you have a contract is written to include a special charge like processing for like paperwork, printing of documents, extra bills of ladings, emailing, packing lists, and so on. Maybe you have a fulfillment account that isn't quite ready for EDI. This means your team's hand keying every order and manually printing, scanning, and emailing all those documents. Now, your accounting department is mainly tracking all of this to bill for labor. While this initially sounds manageable, peak season hits and suddenly you have thousands of orders. You're staffed up and confident you can handle the volume, but you want to make sure you're getting paid for all this extra effort. So automatically charging these manual tasks as part of your account setup can make it easier to ensure every function is getting billed for. Plus, your accounting department will thank you.
That's great. Well, we've covered what we need to be charging for, and we've talked about how to automate some of those things so that nothing is missed. The looming question in my mind is, what do you do with all of that information?
Well, you need to have a way to report on it. So that's all about getting to the right information to the right people at the right time so they can make the right decision. This can be achieved by having a way to extract the data, the ability to summarize charges, accessorial, historical comparisons. Capturing all this information is one thing, but you have to be able to make it actionable. Take it a step further. When you integrate with a third-party accounting software, and as well as create electronic invoices, you open up other possibilities. For some companies, gathering the reports needs from all the activity from the previous month can take time. Sometimes it could be the 14th or 15th of the month before all the necessary data for billing is gathered.
You're halfway through the month at that point.
Exactly. So for this example, when you're capturing everything with automation, all that data in WMS is ready to be reported on. This makes things like PDF invoicing possible. Once all the work's completed throughout the month, your operators are prompted in real time. Charges are applied to every activity. And now all that data can be gathered in a report, and the calculations, they're already complete. This can be a real big deal because of how much time it's saving. And when you're collecting the data as the transactions are being performed, you can also increase your accuracy. Now, you can potentially wrap up all of your billing reviews in the first day or two of the month and close out the month a lot quicker. So once you close out that month, the ability to generate a PDF invoice can give you a real advantage in that you can send the invoices electronically. Faster delivery of invoices results in you getting paid sooner.
I think that would make for some happy executive teams.
Oh, yeah. So I've dealt with an instance where a customer was pretty frustrated, feeling like they were always a month behind due to the amount of time it took for validate their data and get everything together for billing. It's very time consuming and is really impacting their ability to complete their financials, reasonable time. So we helped them. We moved them from a manual entry to an automated recording, just say almost a month behind to closing their month out in about 3 days, time each month. So obviously that made them very happy because now they're sending out their invoices before the 5th as opposed to the 15th every month. And the clerical, they saved a lot of time. Overtime is no longer needed and you don't have that kind of heartache.
huge improvement. That time savings alone is well worth the cost. Let's talk a little bit about how these reports help business decisions.
This is getting back to getting the right information to the right people at the right time. That's where that all comes into play. So think about having historical information at your fingertips when you're reviewing upcoming contracts. This data gives you the ability to compare annually, month over month, and look at trends for storage invoicing as well as handling on your invoicing. This could be a powerful decision-making tool when you're reviewing account profitability or even looking at new business.
That question. Thank you so much for these great insights. We've heard here today how everything is really working together to build a cohesive billing process for 3PLs. When you're ensuring that there's no missed revenue, you're removing the potential of human error with automation, and you're able to report on it to get billing out faster, you're truly leaving no money on the table. All of this combined can make a really big impact.
It truly is creating an opportunity for synergy between sales, operation, and clerical, each one using a different aspect of the WMS, but all working towards the same goal. Our experience with 3PLs and their billing needs is one of the things that we feel that we have and bring an advantage to our customers.
So glad you said that, Tony, because that's what we're all about. We really enjoy helping our customers achieve this kind of efficiency. Through the years of what we've learned from experience and seen in the industry, 3PL billing is something that is really pretty foundational, I think, for a lot of our customers and how they're running their businesses.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Well, this was really great. Thank you, Tony, for your time today, sharing your knowledge with us. I'm sure that you've given our audience some good takeaways that they can start considering with their own billing. If you would like to learn more about who we are and what we do, please visit us at sccodeworks.com and fill out our Contact Us form. Thank you for joining our Code Chat today. We would love to hear from you about today's topic or any other future topics you'd like to hear us talk about.
Thanks so much for your time.